first lap. You can do it. It's 4.7 seconds. 5.6 seconds.
It's a one of a kind, only in the DTM.
Yes, man, you did it.
Thank you, guys.
Go, 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 go.
Yeah!
Welcome to Nürburgring and qualifying for race 16 in the DTM in the sunshine. Glorious day, if a bit cold here at the Nürburgring as we get the qualifying for the second race of two across this weekend underway very, very shortly indeed. Exciting race yesterday, expecting much the same today. The longer race, of course, with the mandatory pit stop, which means can't read too much into what happened yesterday and how that's an indicator of what will happen today. All we do know is that this man needs to bank as many points as possible. That's Pascal Wehrlein, who wasn't without his dramas yesterday. Chris Hartley alongside me.
No, good morning, Dave. Good morning, everybody. There is the championship leader. Yeah, he had a slightly frustrating race in terms of an incident at the start of the race between him and Maxime Martin, who went on to win and become the 11th different winner that we've had in DTM this season. It was at the first turn. The pole sitter was Lucas Auer, slightly unexpected pole position yesterday for the rookie driver. He didn't get off the line that well. Pascal Wehrlein had a mega start, went around the outside of him into turn number one. Also with a good start was Martin, who went down the inside in his BMW. When Pascal Wehrlein went around the outside of Auer, came back across to try and get the lead of the race. He found there was a BMW there, and there was contact, and in the end it didn't really affect things too much because with other incidents that happened, namely the demise of another championship contender, Jamie Green, the race was stopped, the car was patched up, and Pascal still managed to finish third. He was very angry. Went and had a quiet word, didn't he, with Maxime Martin while the race was red flagged. He was very angry indeed. We looked at it and thought, well, Maxime had got the inside line. And in fairness to Pascal, after the race at the press conference, he says, oh, I've seen the replay now. And actually, I apologise to Maxime. There was a gap for him to go for. Yes. I was angry at the time. And he put his hands up and said, yeah, it's probably my fault.
We were just looking at the garage there of Gary Paffett with the door closed, Chris, and information coming through that he will not be taking part in qualifying. So Gary Paffett in the Mercedes, not one that we'll be seeing in the qualifying session, and therefore he will, of course, start the race from the very last row. Engine change. Engine
dramas, yeah, which is a surprise because he was flying in the first race yesterday, wasn't he? On the last lap, he overtook Maxime Gotts to get through and get himself up into fourth place, one of his best results of the season for Gary Paffett. So the car was fine at the end of the race, but obviously in between that, with the warm-up this morning, they've discovered this issue. We have seen going out in warm-up this morning one driver that was missing from yesterday's race, which was the former champion Martin Tomczyk, but he did take part in warm-up this morning, so hopefully we will have 24 cars when we get to the race.
There is the warm-up and the results from that. Can't read too much into it. Mortara was quickest, then it was Vittorius, then Muller, Green, and Maximilian Gertz was sixth fastest in warm-up, and he was pretty impressive yesterday in the race.
He was, yeah. He got stuck in, didn't he? And yeah, we had a chat with him at the end of the race, didn't we, Max Gotts? Nice guy, and in his first season, having come from GT racing, which he was a GT Masters champion, and he really confirmed what we thought. You know, once you can sort qualifying out and get a good position on the grid, which he did, then, you know, they're all a very similar pace, these drivers, and he's certainly got good racecraft. He got stuck in. Mike Rockenfeller might not be too happy with him. In fact, Max said, well, Rocky wasn't very happy with me because there was an incident at the chicane where Mike had pulled off a good move to get to the head of the pack on the fringe of the top six. Yes. And then Max sort of misjudged it, went over the curbs, launched himself, and who was there to sort of slow his progress? But Mike Rockenfeller's Audi, and Mike got nerfed out and to the back of the pack. So apart from that, though, it was as a good drive. So he lost the tyres for the last few races. We were concentrating on the battle for second place between Mortara and Wehrlein. We didn't see what happened, but he confirmed that it was the last lap when Gary Paffett was able to get fourth place from him.
Another one that had a torrid time of it yesterday was that BMW bank driver that we just saw, Bruno Spengler. Pascal Wehrlein and Eduardo Mortara looked the Pascal Wehrlein, the leader in the championship, P2 Eduardo Mortara, them choosing not to go out right at the very, very start of this qualifying session. There we can see yesterday's winner, Maxime Martin. And there is Christian Vittoris, did well in the warm-up, Miguel Molina. And here comes Matthias Ekström, who is now P3 in the points. And in the points at the moment, Pascal Wehrlein on 155, Edo Mortara on 128, and this man, Matthias Ekström, on 127. In any event for the championship, and you've done the calculations as always with your calculator, your laptop and everything else working. Yes. Whatever happens, you know, we can't even talk about the championship unless Pascal Wehrlein wins the race.
No, the only way you could wrap up the championship today is by winning the race, and if Mortara was 10th or lower. And similar story for Ekström, is only a point behind Mortara. So there's 50 points up for grabs after today with 2 races to go. And if he's 51 points or more in front, then he can do it. And the only way he can get to that, he's 27 clear at the moment, the only way he can do that is by getting the 25 for a win. As out he goes. Mortara had a feisty drive yesterday, didn't he? He was nose to tail with Pascal Wehrlein throughout the entire race, really. Mortara was in 3rd place for some time and then launched a daredevil move on Bruno Spengler, who you mentioned in the BMW, which was spectacular but didn't quite come off. Well, it did come off for Mortara because he got through, but unfortunately bits came off.
Didn't for Spengler.
No, bits came off the BMW, the MTEC BMW of the former champion Bruno Spengler, who was, let's say, not happy with the move. And it was a brave few laps, wasn't it, where the team were urging him on, say, keep going. You got a flailing car, bits of bodywork came off. Eventually, despite his best efforts, they caused a puncture to the right rear and he had to retire from the race. Gave Verena a very frank interview in which he was pretty frank with his use of language as well, and made it quite clear that he wasn't very impressed with the Italian's move. So yesterday, Maxime Martin, who was away from all the trouble really, apart from that first corner incident, had a great drive to win his 2nd DTM race with Mortara 2nd and Wehrlein in the end picking up a good result for the championship in 3rd.
So both Robert Wickens and Timo Scheider choose to bin those laps and are back in. There is Jamie Green, who sadly didn't finish yesterday, and Jamie Green then 42.7 in sector 1, 20.6 in sector 2, rounds the Coca-Cola turn and rounds that turn in the pit lane and dives into the pits as pirouetting is the ex-Formula 1 star Timo Glock. Obviously carrying a bit too much speed in there, wasn't he?
Nobody's put a lap together yet, have they? Really, a lot of them have done a wrecking, gone straight back into the pits. To give you a benchmark, pole position yesterday for the Euronics Mercedes of Lucas Auer, his maiden pole, his time was a 1 minute 21.9. So low 122s, maybe a high 121. Different conditions today, a bit warmer today, a bit brighter. Track temperature's probably up. Might be slightly different times. That's not a bad lap, though, to start proceedings for Maxime Martin. He's done a 122.4.
Here comes the man that put it on pole yesterday, Lucas Auer then, 42.1 sector 1, 20.6 sector 2. He goes P2, just shade behind Maxime Martin, the race winner from yesterday. So it's Martin, Auer, Vittoris, Blomqvist, Tomczyk and Maximilian Goertz, as we see a replay here of the all-pink machine of Lucas Auer running out and just lost a little bit there with the back end stepping out. So Vittoris goes P3 with a 123.243, and this is Paul Di Resta, who in parts has looked very, very quick all weekend. He's sustained some damages which has prevented his progress, to be fair, but see what he can do in this qualifying session as he rounds that Coca-Cola turn right now. This is Paul Di Resta, another former Formula 1 star. And again, that back end of the Mercedes just stepped out the exit of that, but he does go P1 at the moment with a 122.213. 122.213. Have 15 minutes of the session remaining, and this is the crucial one, Chris. Pascal Wehrlein.
Yeah, Wehrlein then with a very good first sector, 42.287. Personal best, but not the best in sector 1. He's gunning for it.
New tyre.
So giving him advice about tyres there. And what's Wehrlein's second sector going to be like? Okay, 20.6. The rest did a 20.3 in sector 2, so he's already 3/10 down in that sector alone. So I'm not sure he'll finish this lap. Certainly not going to be putting in top of the times. Yeah, Di Resta was very quick in both free practice sessions. He was the only driver to get into the top 6 in both free practice sessions, but then he had a crash in qualifying, and so he had to start at the back because he never got a lap in, did he?
No.
Wehrlein goes 5th with that lap.
So the order then, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, it's De Resta and then Blomqvist, who took a win at Oschersleben, his maiden win. Then it's Martin, our Wehrlein, Vitoris, Muller, Gertz, Tomczyk and Farfus. We're watching Eduardo Mortara right now. He's P2 in the championship. 42.2 Sector 1, 20.5 in Sector 2. See what he can wrap this lap up with. Eduardo Mortara then in the Castrol Edge liveried Audi, heading towards the timing line now. What will this be from Eduardo Mortara? P6. More to come from Eduardo Mortara, we feel.
Sparks trailing from the back of Martin's car in the background. Here's Jamie Green. Now, he's had the best second sector of anybody here, Dave, and a pretty decent first sector as well. Might not put him top, but he's probably going to be the top three with this one. 122.2 to beat. Can he get provisionally onto the front row with that? Not quite. Fourth.
And Matthias Ekström then. So the Red Bull liveried machine of Matthias Ekström.
Round ranking, the rest are P1, 22.2 new time.
So Pascal Wehrlein being fed the information as we watch Matthias Ekström over the timing line now. Goes P6 with a 122.405. So Molina P5, Ekström P6, Paul De Resta 122.213 has not been eclipsed yet.
Robert Wickens goes second with that lap in the Mercedes. It's his first flying lap, really, and that is only 9,000ths of a second slower than De Resta's time. So it's Mercedes 1-2 at the moment. Then Tom Blomqvist, the BMW driver, who had a bit of contact with Jamie Green yesterday. Green came off, spun, and then was collected by Miguel Molina. It was just an unfortunate incident from Molina, his perspective. Nowhere he could go. And then Blomqvist retired with problems later on. So great weekend at Oschersleben with his maiden win. But looking like he's got good pace here today. Third fastest at the moment, though Rocky's just pipped him and gone third. And then Jamie Green improves as well. He's very quick in the middle sector, Jamie Green again.
Yes. So De Resta, Wickens, then it's Green, Rockenfeller. So we have two Mercedes, then two Audis, then two BMWs with Blomqvist and yesterday's winner Maxime Martin P5 and P6 with 11.5 minutes left to run in this qualifying session, which will set the grid for this afternoon's races. Molina now goes quickest, a 122.168 from the number 17 Audi. Comes Eduardo Mortara. Passes the slowing Paul De Resta car through that NGK chicane. The Castrol Edge liveried car of Eduardo Mortara. Middle sector wasn't a brilliant one, Chris, was it? However, an improvement on his current P14.
0.0.
Wasn't to come.
De Resta's in the pits, Wehrlein's in the pits.
Giving up the rear is too much oversteering. Now have to monitor, please.
That was Ekström saying too much oversteer, wasn't it? Back end of the car. It's just been out of sorts this weekend, hasn't it? He got 1 point yesterday for 10th place, but he hasn't been quick in the competitive sessions. He went okay in free practice, didn't he? He topped one of the times in free practice, but in qualifying and in the race yesterday, definitely struggling for pace.
And there was a lot of radio traffic, which pleasingly we had the benefit of, where Matthias was complaining of both oversteer and understeer. As you say, they just haven't been able to nail the setup, have they?
No. And really, part of the reason he got into the points at all was the carnage that happened on the first lap. And he came close to being involved in it, but he steered brilliantly through the, cars flying in every direction to gain several positions. And in the end, he got past Mike Rockenfeller for the final point. Only 9th fastest at the moment. So Molina is quickest in the first sector and quickest overall. Jamie Green is quickest in the second sector.
Glock's having a torrid time, isn't he? We've seen him
another spin
around, and that's an off for him.
Copy.
Maxime Martin is quickest in the third sector. There's a twitch from Mickey. This is going to be Glock's spin, isn't it? And that's Eki having his moment, yeah. fighting the wheel there, wasn't he? A lot of understeer through Coca-Cola curve. And you've got to have a good run out of there because it's such a long straight. Such a long run, full throttle down towards turn 1.
Well, the only cars on the track are Bruno Spengler that we can see right now, Martin Tomczyk. Also out there is Glock, who we have seen, and Maxime Martin. So if ever there was a time you were trying to avoid traffic,
go out now. Yeah.
Now might be the time with 8 3/4 minutes left. Bruno Spengler currently P15. Molina tops the chart then with his 1:22.168. We go on board with Bruno Spengler as he takes us for a high-speed ride around this Nürburgring 3.629 kilometre circuit, and Pascal Wehrlein still perfectly entrenched in the pit garage. When will they release him for his final run? And we have seen over the course of the season, as we look at Dieter Gas there from Audi, yeah, strategy does play a part in qualifying because, of course, you want to avoid that traffic. Engineers just taking a look at the Matthias Ekstrom car, and Eduardo Mortara also in the garage there. Of course, this afternoon's race is the longer race with the mandatory pit stop, so there's a little bit of an opportunity to play with strategy a bit, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly right. Longer race, the mandatory stop for tyre changes only. As Timo Glock does a personal best lap. It's only 19th for the ex-Toyota Formula 1 racer. Bruno Spengler's on a PB as well. That middle sector was pretty good compared to what he did before. He lost a lot of time in the middle sector on his first lap. That's much better, 7th place.
The limiting factor is the same as before. It's a bit on the nose. Now the exiting the corners, the exits are quite snappy. The rear is quite snappy on the exit.
So the rear's quite snappy, so he's getting oversteer, Bruno Spengler in the BMW, and having to correct it and then losing time when he does that. Let's see Martin then.
Not going to improve with that, is he? So he's P8 time not improved. Mike Rockefeller on his way out of the pit lane now. So the Belgian, who took his second win in DTM, his first win coming, of course, last year at the Moscow Raceway, runs out wide there and picks up quite a lot of dust and grass.
Understeer it quick through the corner. He's currently 8th, yesterday's race winner. The 15 qualifying sessions we've had so far up until this one, we've had 12 different pole sitters. We've only had Jamie Green, Augusto Farfus and Mike Rockefeller who've taken more than one pole position. They have 2 pole positions apiece. Molyneux's currently fastest. He got a pole earlier in the season. Di Resta hasn't had a pole yet. In fact, his best is 4th on the grid. So Di Resta 2nd and Robert Wickens is 3rd. Jamie Green is 4th. Mike Rockefeller is 5th. Tom Blomqvist 6th at the moment. Bruno Spengler 7th. Maxime Martin 8th. Marco Wittmann 9th. And Matthias Ekstrom, he's about where he's been all weekend, really, in 10th place.
So new tyres for Spengler. He's on his way back out again. There comes Timo Glock, the pirouetting Timo Glock, who is currently down there P19. Here is Bruno Spengler then. Spengler's best time so far has given him provisionally P7. We have just under 5.5 minutes left to run in this session. It's going to become very, very busy towards the end of the session, I predict. So Mike Rockefeller then. P5 at the moment for Rocky. This an installation lap as he's left the pit lane. He passes Bruno Spengler, the Schaefer liveried Audi of Mike Rockefeller, who with his time of 1:22.301, 2 1,000ths quicker than Tom Blomqvist, gave him P5. Put the sector split up there for you. 42.014 is what Molyneux has done on his way to his provisional pole sitting lap. So Mike Rockefeller a little bit down on that. Got to make up in sectors 2 and 3. Of course, this is it will be the next lap, won't it? As Maxime Martin. Spengler then gets some warmth into the new set of Hankooks that has gone onto his BMW.
Middle sector was quite good. 20.3 is the best middle sector. He's done a 20.4. Could improve on this one if he has a good final sector, but maybe not. 122.616 now, 3/10 down on his best in the end.
I think it's this one that we should be watching from Mike Rockenfeller. And at last we see the Pascal Wehrlein car out, and here comes Matthias Ekström. So, as I say, it's going to become a very, very busy place, isn't it, over the last 3 3/4 minutes that we have left in qualifying. There's Pascal Wehrlein weaving from side to side. Eduardo Mortara is about to be released from the garage. He too comes out. So we have the top 3 in the championship all out there on track, and that's the man that's right at the top of the championship at the moment, Pascal Wehrlein. That Guix liveried Mercedes-Benz. Reserve F1 driver, of course, for Mercedes too. Very, very talented ex-Formula 3 racer Pascal Wehrlein. So let's keep an eye on the clock now. His time in the first part of this qualifying session only gave him P17, so needs improvement within the next 3 minutes. Bruno Spengler on a bit of a charge then with best of anyone through Sector 1, Chris.
Yeah, Sector 2 is personal best, but 20.3 is the best in Sector 2. So this is going to be tight. Definitely going to improve. He doesn't have a problem in Sector 3. Not sure he's going to get onto the front row though. Looks like he's pushing it through Sector 3 though, doesn't he? Let's see if he can do it. Over the line he goes. He has. Oh. Very good final sector. So 122.049. De Resta second, Molliner third, Wickens fourth, Jamie Green fifth, Mike Rockenfeller sixth. Pascal Wehrlein on his first real flying lap though now. 41.8 is not a bad start, is it?
No, absolutely flat out. 20.5 through the middle sector. It's the final sector of the lap now for Pascal Wehrlein. Round the Coca-Cola turn. And heads towards the timing line. There's Spengler's time on top of the countdown clock of Pascal Wehrlein, and well, P4.
We should point out Pascal's got the heaviest car this weekend here as well, with the success ballast that he's carrying. But he hasn't complained about that. He's just got on with it and has been mightily quick. Eki desperately needs a good qualifying session here if he's to avoid losing more points in the championship to Pascal Wehrlein and to Mortara, who is behind now.
So we're on board with Matthias Ekström. Well down on the Spengler first sector, isn't he?
Miguel Molina's had a good start to his lap though. He's just done the best first sector of anybody, 41.719. Molina currently third. There he is. He could well get onto the front row, maybe provisional pole with this lap. 2/10 in it at the moment. It's looking good for Molina.
So we watch the Miguel Molina Audi then. Heads up towards the timing line now, and you're right.
Provisional pole for Miguel Molina, for his second pole of the year.
One time slipstream, and then you can come in this lap.
Shows you how varied DTM is. Molina was 10th yesterday in qualifying. Here he is, provisionally on pole. There's Lucas Auer, who was on pole yesterday, 11th. Totally flipped around.
I know. Here is Jamie Green now. Jamie Green is looking quick. Look at that, PB in Sector 1. Better than anyone Sector 2. And, well, not such a brilliant last sector, but it does give him P3 provisionally. So it's Molina, Blomqvist. Blomqvist, where did that lap come from that we... 121.939. On board with Pascal Wehrlein. And we have but 5 seconds left in this session. So this will be the last lap from Pascal Wehrlein.
Everybody's on their last lap. Nobody got through on the flag before it came down.
Okay.
No, he's binned it off.
He's binned it.
Okay, Pascal. At the moment, it's P9.
Delivering the bad news with a sigh of breath there, wasn't he? Rocky's aborted his lap as well. And Jamie Green getting on. Not a great first sector for Jamie. De Resta's gone into the pits as well, currently sat in 4th. His 4/10 down at the moment. It's going to be a lot to try and get 4/10 back in the last sector, isn't it? It's the shortest sector.
Okay, check good flag. We are not quick enough, so P20, P20.
No improvement for green.
No grip at all on the rear.
No grip at all on the rear.
Where's Ekstrom?
Way down the order, P17.
17th.
So, well, Wehrlein actually P9 when you consider who he's up against in terms of the championship. I mean, by sheer luck, truthfully, Chris, what have we got? We've got Mortara down there, P20. Matthias Ekstrom, P17. So he's got his championship challengers behind him, hasn't he? But it's not the qualifying. Reinforces what we said yesterday. You know, we can't read anything out of yesterday into what's going to happen today. Look at the front row. It's Molina and Blomqvist.
Mortara was flying yesterday. He says he's got no grip today. And, you know, a track is a living, breathing thing. Conditions change. Even though I know it's a bit sunnier, it's probably about the same temperature, but it's just different on a different day. And we're only talking tenths of a second here, the difference between being at the front and being at the back. So Miguel Molina with his second pole position of the year, 121.7, a couple of tenths quicker than anybody, which is quite impressive. A couple of tenths normally splits the top 10, doesn't it? With Tom Blomqvist doing great guns again in second place. Jamie Green, who is still a championship contender.
Absolutely.
Of the top four. He's had the best qualifying session in third.
Then it's Paul de Resta and Spangler and Farfus and Wickens and Maximilian Gertz. Again, good quali from Maximilian Gertz. Pascal Wehrlein, P9. Then it was Wittmann. Then it was Glock and Mike Rockenfeller, and the rest of the order you can see there. The one that didn't show, which should reinforce, is the Mercedes star Gary Paffett, who didn't get the car out of the garage because of an engine issue, and therefore he will be starting right at the back of the pack for the race that comes up this afternoon. Let's take some slow-mos then of the top three in qualifying, and the Hoffman Group Audi RS5 DTM, which sadly didn't finish the race yesterday, will start from the second row of the grid, P3 today. Tom Blomqvist, who took his maiden DTM win at Oschersleben, puts himself in a very, very strong position for the long race this afternoon because he will go from P2. And then a 121.732, a clear 2 tenths quicker than Tom Blomqvist. Miguel Molina then in the Audi RS5 DTM will be going on pole position for the race this afternoon. He looks pretty happy, doesn't he?
Yeah, very different look again to the grid. We haven't got a 13th different pole sitter, but we've got an almost entirely different grid than we had yesterday. Tom Blomqvist has clicked, hasn't he, with qualifying? The last four qualifying sessions, he's been in the top three times. Yesterday wasn't so good, but this is his second front row start now in his first campaign. The driver who was runner-up to Esteban Ocon in the Formula 3 Championship, European Formula 3 Championship last year. Going well. So Molina on pole position for Audi. For BMW, Tom Blomqvist second. Another Audi, Jamie Green third. And the best of the Mercedes, Paul de Resta with one of his best qualifying sessions of the year in fourth place, which is more like it because, as we said, he's shown the pace this weekend, but it was just that off in qualifying which ruined yesterday for him, really. He couldn't get up into the points in the end. He had a good try, didn't he? Got to 13th place.
Well, the plot thickens as the DTM Championship continues its charge for 2015, and interesting face there from Hans-Jürgen Abt as we take some shots here of almost behind the scenes in this qualifying session. The race to come this afternoon, of course, and it is the longer race of the two that are now featured in every DTM race weekend, with the mandatory pit stop to come. And front row is going to be Miguel Molina and Tom Blomqvist, with Jamie Green and Paul de Resta. And there is the car of Tom Blomqvist. There's the car of Eduardo Mortara. And the flame-spitting Red Bull liveried Matthias Ekstrom. Way down the order once again, P17. There is the BMW of Maxime Martin, who was victorious yesterday. And again, that's what I'm saying, you can't read too much into it. You know, P16 for Martin in qualifying today.
Yeah, mega yesterday, nowhere today. Amazing, isn't it? You put the car away, put the car to bed. It's won the race. You wake up the next day and it's nowhere. Yeah, and they're a long way off as well. Mortara, who was so good yesterday, is 3/4 of a second off pole position. Yes, he's got a longer race, and the pit stops might help to come through the order, but unless they can sort the car out and get the pace back to where it was yesterday, that's going to be a big headache. So it's going to be a lot of engineers sat around, a lot of laptops in between now and the race later on in a couple of hours' time, isn't it? Trying to figure things out.
Okay, here comes the grid in full for you for race 16. The front row of the grid features Miguel Molina, pole position. And last time out winner Tom Blomqvist goes from P2.
Still just about a championship contender. Jamie Green third, Paul de Resta in fourth place, the 2010 champion.
Then we see Bruno Spengler and Augusto Farfus with a BMW lockout on row 3.
On row 4 then, Robert Wickens and Max Gutz continues his strong weekend in this debut season.
Championship leader is Pascal Wehrlein, who has the current champion Marco Wittmann alongside him on the 5th row of the grid.
Row 6, despite a couple of moments in qualifying, Timo Glock is 11th, Mike Rockenfeller is 12th.
Then we see the car of Timo Scheider and Daniel Junkadea, P13, P14.
Row 8 next, Lucas Auer 15th today, pole position yesterday, and Maxime Martin, who won the race yesterday, back there as well.
Well, Matthias Ekstrom, P17, just couldn't hook it up in qualifying with Antonio Felix da Costa alongside him.
10th row of the grid, Christian Vitoris and Edo Mortara, who is up there in the championship fight.
Nico Muller, P21, Adrian Tombay, then P22, the two Audis together there.
Gary Paffett, with engine problems, didn't go out in qualifying. Martin Tomczyk will be on the back row of the grid with him.
So that is the grid set for the race to come this afternoon. As DTM continues after this, of course, there's just one more round to come as we reach for the season finale at Hockenheim. But we are at Nürburgring. And going to be a very, very good crowd here to enjoy the race this afternoon in the sunshine. Look at that, just a little bit of harmless high cloud, and it is all sunshine. So we'll see you for the race this afternoon. From Chris and I, bye-bye for now.
Unendlich Wayne interessiert. Wayne interessiert. Und wenn sich mein Tag ist, dann mach ich wie du und sag mir, Wayne interessiert. Wayne interessiert. Die Welt übertreibt mal wieder, Wayne interessiert. Schlag du der Hand, Mann, Alter, Wayne interessiert. Ich lass mich nicht stressen, das könnt ihr vergessen. Ich mach easy, ganz egal was passiert. Alle Hände hoch! Komm, nimm das Ganze nicht so hart. Was auch passiert, Digga, wir kommen klar. Und wenn's nicht dein Tag ist, dann mach es wie ich und sag mir, Wayne interessiert. Wayne interessiert. Und wenn's nicht dein Tag ist, dann mach ich wie du und sag mir, Wayne interessiert. Die Welt übertreibt mal wieder, Wayne interessiert. Mann, Alter, Wayne interessiert. Ich lass mich nicht stressen, das könnt ihr vergessen. Ich mach easy, ganz egal was passiert. Wayne interessiert. Dankeschön.
Lass die Leute reden. So, jetzt langsam wird es ein bisschen wärmer, ne?
Zeit zu träumen.
Bring me a dream, bring me a dream, bring me a dream.
DTM, seid ihr noch da?
Fliegt nichts in die Luftbombe und alle sind erleuchtet. Juden, Christen, Hindus, Moslems sind endlich beste Freunde. Tag der offenen Tür bei der NSA. Der Papst tauscht die Bibel gegen 50 Shades of Grey. Keine SUVs, alle fahren hier mit dem Rad. Und die Burger bei McDonald's sind ab heute vegan. Obama hat am Oberarm ein Che Guevara Tattoo. Yeah, die Bild ist endlich pleite, keine schlechten News.
Ich lebe in meiner Traumwelt, weck mich nicht auf. Alles ist so easy, will hier nie wieder raus. Ich lebe in meiner Traumwelt und wollte nicht raus. Alles schön, wenn man die Augen zumacht. Da, 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 da. Don't wake me up, see this forever, whatever. Hey. Da, 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 don't wake me up, see this forever, whatever. Hey. Coming out des Jahres. Auf den CSD, erste Reihe plus die Riot High Heels und Negligé. Unsere Sneakers werden nur noch von Erwachsenen genäht. Keine Drogendealer mehr, dafür legales THC. Yeah. Flüchtlingsboote werden am roten Teppich empfangen. Es ist keiner arbeitslos, außer das Arbeitsamt. Bäcker spenden ihre Boni, keine Zinsen auf Kredite. Juden schulen alle um, es gibt nur noch wahre Liebe. Hey. Ich lebe in meiner Traumwelt, weck mich nicht auf. Alles ist so easy, bin hier nie wieder raus. Ich lebe in meiner Traumwelt und wollte nicht raus. Alles schön, wenn man die Augen zumacht. Da, 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 da. Don't wake me up, see this forever, whatever. Hey. Da, 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 don't wake me up, see this forever, whatever. Hey. Ich träum und träum und träum und hör nicht auf.
Hör nicht auf zu träumen.
Wir träumen und träumen und träumen und träumen zusammen, bis alles wahr ist. Ich lebe in meiner Traumwelt, weck mich nicht auf. Alles ist so easy, will hier nie wieder raus. Ich lebe in meiner Traumwelt und wollte nie alles. Alles schön, wenn man die Augen zumacht. Da, 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 da. Don't wake me up, see us forever, whatever. Hey. Da, 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 da. Don't wake me up, see us forever, whatever. Hey.
Yeah!
Vielen, vielen Dank.
Gibt es hier Damen heute?